Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another StarCastTV cast. I'm Schamtoo. Today, going to be bringing you, actually, oh man, we got to go fix that real quick. That's a best of 5 here between Rush and Sacsri. Game number 1 is going to start off here on Whiteout. Pretty excited to bring these games to you. Of course, throw down the subscription, the follow, and all that on StarCastTV. And, you know, thank Cruiser for the opportunities given here for us to bring these games to you all in English, Spanish, and Russian. Getting into this best of 5, we do have, spawning up here in the top right-hand corner, ASL 9 Champ Rush, also just normally known as Rush in the teal. We're on Whiteout again, just to remind you. And over here on the left-hand side, it is our purple Zerg. It is Sacsri. TvZ, what a great matchup. Whiteout, what a weird map to start off on. I mean, overall, it was a map that was used, what, ASL 7 or 8, and it has an interesting set of features. In the middle there's a whole bunch of trees that actually the trees aren't the thing that remove your vision. It's these little platelets, if I remember correctly. The trees are to remind you, though, that like if you're going over here, that the platelets do that thing, if I remember correctly. It all is very odd. And so Whiteout has become like this weird map. It does confuse a lot of people the first couple times they play it, but overall it turned out to be very interesting for counterattacks and that type of business. So I'm curious to see how both these players are going to play it, just because of that. You know, like it does lend itself to being a little bit weirder, a little bit odder. But not otter. That's an animal. So we do have this nice little forward barracks here, being a little bit aggressive here. And it seems like we're going to follow this up with a refinery. Now, this is what's really interesting. We're seeing a lot of the refinery play coming out from Terrans lately. And kind of one of the things that I've been hearing quite a bit is that the Korean style has been lending itself a little bit more to the fast expands with 111. Whether or not that starport is before or after the command center, it kind of reminds me of a lot of those builds that we saw back in, I would say, early 2019. Which sounds like that was like yesterday, which is kind of weird, but it is actually 2020. Meanwhile, you know, Zergs have really just been staying on the two hatch build for, I don't know, 2 years now. So it's nothing really has changed here. You know, 3 hatchery had just become so susceptible to the +1 racks builds that it just, you know, wasn't able to really kind of stay with the times. Now, we do have, again, this very forward barracks that came out here from Rush, and now we've already got this bunker coming down here. Sacsri is responding to it really late, and not only that, we have a little bit of glitch on those drones. We do have a mineral patch over here that we're going to use to min-walk. We got a lot of these Marines getting to take a lot of damage, but guess what? To get into the bunker, oh my god, Rush is already in such a great position. Not only that, but that Overlord is taking some damage. Got to back that guy up a little bit here. And Rush, feeling pretty happy with the damage that he has caused. Sacsri has started to float back that barracks. We do have the factory behind us now. And what's scary about this is Zerg's main defense against the Vulture is to get a sunken colony. And guess what? You need that already building by now. But guess what? That Vulture is already on the way. The drones are coming back here with a very large min-walk. And the question here is whether or not they're going to be able to break this and also defend from the impending Vulture that's coming out here, as Rush has gone further and further into this this very aggressive style to start off game number 1. That Vulture already on the way. The time is ticking. That Marine is buying so much time for these Zergling to be completely out of position. We still don't have any type of tech on the way here for Sacsri. Oh, never mind. I take it back. We do have Speedlings. And these Speedlings are jumping on top of this Vulture. The Vulture is going to have to do a great job of microing around. But guess what? even if they deal with this vulture, there is now a second vulture, and these just scale into such a great spot against Zergling at this time. Third vulture on the way, and this is looking pretty rough here for Sacsri. Rush starting off with such an early aggression and just such great damage so far onto Sacsri. How is he going to respond? We don't have a lair or anything else coming up here. We are in a really difficult spot. We have a Hydralisk Den. I was about to say, I saw Zerg something somewhere. And again, this is coming back to Whiteout being such a great map for, you know, kind of running around using that darkness in the middle of the map. But so many Zergling are coming in here from Sacsri. A Wraith has entered the fight. We do have a single bunker right now. And we don't really have that much to defend this yet. We do have the Hydralisk Den that did just finish up there. We're going to get that. We're going to need a couple of Hydras. But, I mean, we just lost our Overlord. We are now supply blocked. We are in a really difficult spot here for Sacsri. Rush has started this game out so well. And I'm telling you, man, this 1-1-1 style is coming back in favor so much lately. Not only that, but now Rush is able to get the expansion down. Not being super active with this Wraith, though, and actually taking a lot of damage on it, though, is a little bit unfortunate. But Sacsri is such a difficult spot here. I mean, all we have is a Hydra Den. We have barely any gas. We have nothing going on here. Meanwhile, Rush on the other side, we've got a control tower, we've got factory, we're spinning on the machine shop, command center coming down. This is just getting more and more difficult. That lone Wraith is just causing so much damage. I mean, we're at 14 drones. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And look at this, though. I think Rush doesn't understand how crippled he's made Sacsri's economy. He's got all these SCVs waiting around this bunker. You normally see this if you're expecting a massive Hydra all-in. He is so terrified at this point. I was going to say, was it the Zergling? But no, it looks like the Zergling did come back home. So very interesting from Rush, playing super defensive, and that's totally fine, but he's losing a lot of mining time, having all these SCVs just getting ready. Now, don't get me wrong, he's right. There is a whole bunch of Hydras coming on the way. Oh man. Oh man. But it was interesting to see, like, you know, he had full scout of the base. He saw nothing, and he was just like, okay, there has to be 1,000 Hydras somewhere. But here comes that aggression. We're getting on top of the bunker. We are going to be able to take it down just at the last second. But the Hydra numbers are getting shredded. The siege tanks are just too good. And GG as Rush takes game number 1 here. Oh, my God. Rush is just too strong. I mean, so Sacsri lost a little bit in part because he just wasn't ready for that first little bit of a push into the, from the middle of the map, getting on top of everything, getting that bunker up. That was just too much too soon. It completely caught Sacsri off and by surprise. So game number 2, wow, what are these maps? We're going to Jade 2.1, Neo Jade. Wow. I didn't expect to see Neo Jade in 2019. So let's take a quick look. Let's see what's going to happen in game number 2 here. All right. Oh, no. Oh, no, not again. Oh, my God. It's the yellow bug. Shift tab, nothing changes. You can see, like, I'm hitting shift tab and it's slightly turning a little bit greener. Oh, no. All right. Oh, thanks, Blizzard. Okay, so spawning up here in the top left-hand corner, it is Sacsri. In this best of 5, he's already down 1 game. And the person that took that one game off Sacsri, it is none other than ASL 9 Champ Rush up here in the top right hand corner. I just love that name. But this is going to be a very interesting game. We are on Neo Jade. What is this? Have at you from 2018? God. So Neo Jade's a very interesting map. There is a mineral. Is it a mineral only third, or is it a third that has less gas? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think it's a third that has less gas. That's pretty easy and defensive to take. And overall, just a very odd map. It has become kind of the older version of In the Way of an Eddy. I would say In the Way of the Eddy is like Neo Jade, but better. Some very angry YouTube commenter at this point is going to be like, actually, Schamtoo, Neo Jade and In the Way of the Eddy are not at all the same. And I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. But they're both blue, so they're the same in my mind. We do have the 12 hatchery coming down here. So we're going again with a little bit of an econ build here from the Zerg. And that... Okay, I think that was a 12 refinery. So it looks like we're going for 11-12 Rax refinery. That might have been a 12-12. I'm not sure. That was really weird. Looks like the timing is a little bit odd to me. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, we're at 14 supply, so everything seems very normal. Okay, never mind. Don't mind me. And we're going in again into what looks like to be either a factory expand or a 1-1-1 build again. And this is very interesting. I really hope these games are educational to you guys because again, we haven't really seen this style really explode until the last, I would say, 1 or 2 months. And these are really the only games that I've seen and been able to cast where I've actually been able to kind of be sitting in the front seat here watching these. I'm sure if you've been watching all the spawn bangs that exist, you probably haven't seen these for a while. But it's very interesting to watch these games go down. Again, we have the... Oh, actually, no, I take it back. I'm sorry, I did miss that. We have a 3-hatch play coming out here from Sacsri. A very, I would say, off-the-cuff kind of build lately. Again, because a lot of 3-hatch builds ended up kind of going out of vogue for a lot of different reasons. But Neo Jade is a little bit older map, and 3-hatch, I'm sure, works really well on this type of map. You always have to remember, if you're a newer player to StarCraft, that not only do these meta and all these like in vogue builds change just because of just the styles and things that we learn just outside of everything, but also remember that maps change because of what's actually builds change because of what's actually favorable for the maps. So that's a very important thing to remember, that something like 3-hatch can actually probably be very good on other styles of maps where normally in later maps or maps that we recently used it has a little bit of difficulty getting operational. But I think Neo Jade has pretty good rush distances, even though they're at close spawns. So I think getting that little bit of breath here will be useful for Sacsri. We do have a couple of Zerglings chasing out the SCV. The SCV is getting the full scout. We have the lair on the way. And all the way on the other side of the map, we got the 1-1-1 style past the command center. So we did get the factory first there. Then starport behind the command center. With the starport finishing up, I'm curious to see. Nope. Yep. Just going to be a straight up Wraith. And these styles have been very useful versus Zerg, just because you get that first Wraith out there. You don't have to worry about your Comcast, I almost said Comcast again. Comstat coming in here, and having to wait for that and spending your very precious scans on what may or may not be coming out. We do have a very early Hydrogen with this 3-hatch though, with a Spire coming up way behind it. So I suspect we'll probably have a couple Hydras out here just for defense from that Wraith. God, all these like similar colors are driving me insane. That's first Wraith. Okay. It's like the ultimate caster challenge is to have to cast a game where all the colors of the players are the same, because you have to generally know this with context. Couple of vultures coming in here with speed. We did get speed there. And they're going to take out one of these hydras, but we have a couple more hydras popping out here. Oh, that overlord is a little bit out of position there. Gonna have to rush those hydras out there to defend it. And they will bully those hydras away. And now it looks like we're going into actually a very, I wouldn't say old style, but, you know, a little bit of a slightly older tactic, which is go for what, you know, we kind of used to call the Hanbang timing. That Wraith is being just very aggressive here. Getting in here, poking down these overlords, and as soon as there's any damage, that Wraith backs up instantly. We did get mines as well. As we do have the science facility coming down very early in the game. I mean, typically you get your science facility at like 9 minutes. That science facility is done at 6. Oh, is the Wraith gonna get it? So we're going to be building up science vessels. We're going to be building up bio then behind all of this. But this is actually really good here for Sacsri because 3-hatch does allow for a pretty strong economy. You could really tech switch very hard with something like 3-hatch. And that's going to be very useful for playing against this timing that's going to hit at about, I think 10 minutes, 10 or 11 minutes. We do have the mutas now finally out. They're going to hit right on their normal time, which is about 7 minutes. And we're going to get a pretty good scout out. Now, a couple of missile turrets did pop up here. That will ward away those mutas for now. But, I mean, right now, the critical thing for Sacsri is to limit the army count. Because the entirety of this build at this point is to build up a very, very strong army very early. And kind of get this really big push going out here. Now, an Irradiate Haze has gone down, but it's actually on one of the top level mutas. So the mutas are able to easily swim. Nope, never mind. The Irradiate muta goes back in, but we do break the bunker. We have done significant damage to the ball of the Terran units. But it is a little bit scary now. We still have these two Scourge up. Oh, sorry, these two science vessels up. We have two Scourge waiting in the wings here. We have more of these Zergling coming in here trying to bully this down. There's only a couple of Marines trying to get on top. We do take down one of those science vessels with the Scourge, but the Zergling are on top of everything. They're doing able to do a lot of damage to get on top of that Speed Vulture that was trying to micro. It's not going to actually be successful in warding away these Zergling, and now the Zergling are on top of the ramp, which is one of the worst places you want to be as a Terran on Neo Jade because it is an up ramp to your natural. The Zergling yet again getting on top of that Vulture. The Vulture trying to bully away the Zergling, but now we have Hydras out here. And it looks like we will be able to do a significant amount of damage. If we can delay this timing, we're in a really good spot. But I don't know if we can. I mean, actually, I do think we can. I mean, at this point, all right, Rush is in a pretty bad spot. Again, you know, like that whole entire timing is to try and to build up the right amount. We do have a lot of Scourge here. Like, we could easily bully away that Wraith, but I think we're waiting for those Scourge to be spent on the science vessels that are waiting deep in the wings there. Now leapfrogging a couple of these lurkers in here. And the closer and closer they get, oh man, this is getting scarier and scarier. If they can get on top of that mineral line, I mean, already there's barely any SCVs over here. We've got a lot starting to now just wail away on that bunker. All the SCVs have to repair. That's going to be a huge drain on the economy of Rush. Sacsri now going for it. We do have the lurkers getting on top of the SCVs, those Zergling on top of the SCVs as well. Is Sacsri gonna be able to break it? His siege tank finally comes out, but a little bit too late. The Wraith goes down. We've got two science vessels with no energy. We're on top of the macro, and GG from Rush. Oh, man. Oh, really crazy. Game number 2, tying it back up. Sacsri to Rush. This is a best of 5, so we've got a couple more games coming. But already a great back and forth between these two players. Let's see what game number 3 has in store for us. What map is it going to be? I'm going to guess Nostalgia at this point. La Mancha. Okay, La Mancha is actually... I mean, it's an older map, but it's kind of back in favor again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into game number 3 here. Currently 1-1. Let's see how these games are going to go. Spawning up here in the top left-hand corner, it is Sacsri, our Gray Zerg. And up here in the top right-hand corner, it is Rush, our Yellow Terran. Now, I know a couple people were complaining about the colors last game. I can't do anything about that in that game. The random colors chosen for the UMS map unfortunately bugged out. They're supposed to not choose similar colors, but they did. So there was no red and blue. There were no 2 different colors. It was literally just both yellow. Even hitting Shift Tab and all the allied color buttons, none of them fixed it. So luckily, now we have a normal game of gray and yellow. Honestly, I would really love it if Blizzard had, or you know, if I could spend some time and work out the decoding of the replays, which I know a lot of people have done. I'd love to go in and actually just edit it so that it's red versus blue for every game. I'll have to spend some time in the next couple of weeks and build an replay editor, and hopefully that can work. But I worry that I'll break the checksum and then the replays will bug out. So La Mancha, again, standard 4-player map. A little bit of an interesting map for Terran. The third base is farther away, so it's a little bit harder to defend, but you do have a pretty easy bridge to defend it. You can see this Overlord is going over that bridge right now. But likewise, once a Zerg gets a third base, I mean, they just have to defend this bridge and hopefully not lose ground here in the middle. And they have a pretty good, easy third base. Wrong button there. Okay, now I just made everybody go away. But this time, though, keep in mind, you know, the last 2 games we saw Rush go for that very early, not very early, but the gas at 12. We're not seeing that. Instead, we're actually seeing a much more standard build coming out here from Rush with a 12 racks, no gas behind that. Sorry, 11 racks, 12 with no 12 gas behind it. And Sacsri went for a 9 pool. Now, hilariously enough, Sacsri is setting this 9 pool in the worst direction. Oh my god. Now, he must have seen the SCV. No, he didn't. What is he doing? Sacsri! Sacsri didn't full scout. Or something. Oh my god. How did we mess this up so badly? And the worst part is, where he sent those Zergling is the exact opposite side of the map, so now he has to run them all the way back over. Oh man, that's really unfortunate. And the SCV gets in, sees the late hatchery, sees everything else, and knows that he has to pull the Marines back, and that's the SCVs now. Oh my god. This is hilarious. So he'll be totally defended against this. I mean, he really doesn't even have to play, I think, even this safe. It's 6 Zergling. Probably only needs like 1 or 2 SCVs, but I mean, I guess you might as well play it safe. Might as well not lose, especially after last game. We don't have any more Zergling behind this though, so this is actually, you know, this does take an econ hit onto Sacsri, but it also takes a little bit of an econ hit here on Rush because Rush did have to pull a couple of SCVs, but for a very small amount of time. Overall, Rush definitely won out on that one. I can't believe Sacsri sent the Zerglings to the complete wrong side of the map. And what does that mean? I mean, we could already see the hatchery hasn't even gone into lair, which is typically started at like 354. It's 416. We are so far behind now in terms of that lair timing, and the third hatchery now coming up super late as well. So we're in a really difficult spot here. Looks like we will be able to clean up that SCV. We have a number of Marines moving across the map. Luckily, that Overlord did spot it. That Overlord's placement is perfect. And now that Rush knows that he's been scouted out, he has to back up here. There's no way that he can possibly make this. Like, the whole entire point of this push was to catch Sacsri by surprise. with a bunch of Marines. As soon as Sacsri sees that, he knows that he can pump out a lot of units. The side note there is that if Rush pokes in and makes it seem like that push is still happening, Sacsri will spend a lot of larva on Zergling to defend it. But guess what? Larva did, he didn't do that. He's going to put down like one sunken here. And we do have that lair now finishing up at 520. So again, really late. We have the Spire coming down now. And we're going to pump out a couple of these sunken colonies. And I think this is really just to defend against what's most likely going to be a couple of medics coming out behind this. This is a good number of Marines to push in and attack the Zerg before the muta timing. So really at this point, all you need is sunken. And one of the things that I saw JD talk about in one of his tutorial videos is you either make sunkens or you make Zergling. You don't make both. And we can see that, he's mostly focusing on just getting enough sunkens to survive this. And that's very smart. He did take a really good amount of time here to get a lot of drones up. So getting that amount of sunkens is not really that important. Oh, there's a couple of firebats here. They're going to catch those Zergling. But the Zergling are also going to catch those firebats. Those firebats are actually very good to catch early. Ooh, the push in did not go so well either. The firebats have actually, they take 3 hits, I think, or 4 hits. 3 hits, I think, to get taken out by the sunken colonies. So it's good to take out those firebats as soon as possible, and before they can get to your front line, because if you put your firebats up front and push them into the sunken colonies, they tank a lot of hits, and that allows the Marines to really shred up the sunken colonies unless you're specifically targeting them. And overall, I mean, the Spire did finish up. We are going to have our 9 mutas. We're going to be in a good spot. A lot of delays here, though, for Sacsri, so I'm a little bit worried. Rush is getting that factory on time. I mean, typically, if the mutas hit around now, like the factory typically gets delayed because you're throwing down a lot of missile turrets. But guess what? Sacsri has all these delays that you can see already. These mutas normally hit 650, 7 minutes. It's 30 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds late. That 20 to 30 seconds of mining allowed him to get an earlier factory here. So now Rush is sitting in a really good spot. Sacsri is playing a little bit behind here, but that's okay. Really, all Sacsri has to do now is just make sure that Rush doesn't get into the positions that he needs to in order to deny A, the third base, and B, hive timing. So as long as Rush is still stuck in the base defending against these Mutalisks, then Sacsri is okay. We did get the Hydra Den. We got the probably the Lurker research coming in. Oh, wow. We took out both those missile turrets as well. That's going to lead to a little bit of a weak point here in Rush's base. And so we're just going to dog in here a little bit and just do some damage. Again, it's really important to remember that you have to kill Marines as much as you're trying to focus on SCVs. A lot of Zergs that I know will focus on those SCVs and they'll be like, yeah, I killed like 30 SCVs. That's all I needed to do, right? No, you need to kill the Marines because the Marine ball is really going to be the one that's going to be pressuring and locking in the Zerg. What is this queen? That queen's nest. What? Hey, I'm going Hive Tech. Does anybody see that I'm going Hive Tech? I'm going Hive Tech. Alright. Meanwhile, these mutants are still constantly coming in here. They're doing a lot of damage. But on the other side of the map, we do have those Marines pushing out here. What does Sacsri have in defense? We only have 3 sunken colonies. We're trying to get a couple of lurkers up here. And really, only a couple of lurkers will be able to hold this. But this is not enough sunken colonies to hold this. Oh my god, I think we're going to lose. We're going to lose a lot here if we're not really careful. We don't have the lurkers up either. The sunken colonies are all getting targeted down. Zergling coming in here at the last second, but they're not doing good enough job to buffer. The lurker does come up here. The mutas are doing a lot of damage. We're trying to break the natural, and it's not going to happen at the last second with barely enough. Sacsri will be able to hold off Rush. And that's actually a huge amount of Marines and Medic to take out now. Why? Because this means that Sacsri is back in the game by so much. That third hatchery is now up. We have it defended. We're good. We're in a good spot. Typically, those Marines, those medics, they are locking down the natural. They're locking down the third base, but that's not going to happen. We've got double Defiler Mound. We're going for Plague and Consume at the same time. So this is getting very dangerous. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Rush is now getting up to 5 barracks. We've got the double starport pumping out double science vessels. We're getting +2 weapons now, as we already have +1 weapons finished. Mutas are still out on the map. Oh, God, this is going to be a crazy game. I can already feel it. The Nidus Canal does finish up here. We have third base now fully up online. So how is Sacsri going to set the pace for the next part of the match? I mean, at this point, this is normally when Terran is out on the map. They have a ball. They are going to lock down the third and the natural. Can they stop a fourth base from happening is really the key point here. They have the +1 weapon, so, you know, they're sitting in a good spot. I think Sacsri's been spending a lot of time here getting a lot of econ back up. But overall, Rush has this very strong push. We don't have any defilers. We have what? Oh, wow. Actually, we have 4 lurkers balled up underneath that. 4 lurkers balled up underneath. Oh my God. Did we just spend all of our irradiates on those mutas? That is a very bad decision. Okay. I mean, if we spent those on, say, this ball of lurkers over here, we could have done a lot more. We don't have any irradiates now for any type of defilers. We have maybe 1 or 2 more irradiates in the next 10 seconds. So what is Rush doing? We're now going to go over here. We're going to take our third base. And we're going to just go into a little bit more of a late game style here. I think at this point, again, Rush's job now is to lock down the natural or the third base. We're going to go with locking down the third base. Oh. Plague going down. And now we're going to go for an eraser as well. Oh, do we get to take out the science vessel? Yeah, I mean, that's a science vessel for, what, 2 kills of drones? Is that worth it? Is that worth it? I don't think so. But we do have a lot of science vessels. We're up to 5 science vessels. Get our upgrades that work. +1 carapace, so I think we're going to go into ultras after this. Eventually. Doesn't seem like we have an ultra cavern yet. And that's probably smart. We need to get all the gas up for the defilers. We did get the double defiler mound here. We got the plague really early. That's nice. Oh, no, we do have an ultra cavern way down here. Oh, wow, we're actually double expanding. Sacsri does make note of that, though. Of course, he did have that Zergling over there. We're now going up 7 racks. We have the double commands. Oh, the double starport into what? Physics lab. You know why? Because battle cruisers need physics. That's what they're powered by. Physics. Battle cruisers are really great mid-game tech for Terran to go into. What do? They force the Zerg to spend a lot of gas. It's a very difficult thing to deal with. Ooh, Defiler, are you going to be able to get a plague? Nope. Just going to throw down a Darkstorm. Second, Defiler going to get irradiated as well. And we've got those battle cruisers operational on the way here. Science vessels now kind of poking around here, looking for anything that they can do. We do have... Oh, we have a plague available. Oh my God, can we get a plague? He's going to keep backing up. He knows there's a plague inevitably. Oh God, and that defiler. That poor defiler. He didn't deserve this. Rush, though, now double with the expansion. So we're going to get into a really strong econ mode here from Rush. I mean, we've got +2, +3, +1? +2, +1. Not even the engineering base. Okay, now we're going up to... Okay, never mind. Take it back. We're getting that +2 armor now. Oh, Plague on top of Marines with a Dark Swarm. Okay. Again, this is really important here for Sacsri. If he can just break the containments that Rush is trying to get, this allows for a venue for Zergling to get on the map. Once Zergling get on the map, they can clear a mineral line so quick. So this is very pivotal to get this open. Meanwhile, a bunch of fire bats with a medic are running over here. Yeah, that seems like a smart thing. Another Defiler going to get taken down there at the 4th base. The 4th base is still pretty much unbreakable, though. I mean, we have a Lurker with just a couple of Zergling. I mean, that's a lot. We still have these 3 Lurkers over here. And we're getting a couple of factories over here. Probably just get a couple of siege tanks with siege mode just to defend that difficult position to defend. So I'm curious to see... Oh my god, there's just a Defiler in the middle of all of them. What are they doing? I'm curious to see what's going to happen here. But now we've got these first 2 battlecruisers out here. Which means that Rush is now going to start opening up... Sorry. Rush is now going to start opening up some paths for dropships. This is very smart. Use these battlecruisers just to get rid of these overlords. And not only that, but Scourge as well. And these battlecruisers create a very nice, like, kind of little area for the units to drop. A couple of fire bats now coming down here. So many Scourge coming out, but guess what? Not enough to take out the battlecruisers or the dropships. Now we did take out a lot of damage on those dropships. I think we did kill a couple of the units before. Sorry, we did kill one of those dropships before they were actually able to drop all their units. But overall, we did do a good amount of damage here. We've got these battlecruisers still poking around, doing some damage. It looks like we're going to focus down that Nidus Canal. If we can stop the reinforcements from Zerg easily being taken, that's best. We did get a Plague down on top of those battlecruisers as well. We're going to throw down a Dark Swarm, so we're going to defend ourselves from losing too many things. This is really nice play here from Sacsri. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we do have a lot of units pushing up here. Siege mode has not been researched yet. It looks like we don't have enough forces, though, to actually break this for Rush. For Sacsri. Rush, though, is playing a very great defensive game, splitting up the map, though. So now Sacsri's in a little bit of a difficult spot. He doesn't really have a lot of standing army. What is the call going to be? We do have a lot of Ultralisks now. We have +1, +4 on those, but we have 3-1 on these on these Marines. They are going to tear Ultras apart. Not only that, but we got to radiate on top of these Ultras as well. We're going to run them back. There's not really that much I think we could be doing here. A couple of rogue Ultras running around looking for anything that they could possibly do. But Sacsri is getting locked down. And this is kind of exactly what I was talking about. Like, really, the job of the Terran at this point is to lock down the Zerg's ability to get out of the bases. A couple of Marines and medics engaging Ultras under Dark Swarm. Not ideal. Now we got a battlecruiser coming up behind this as well. And these science vessels are doing just so good a job just keeping those Defiler numbers down. But there's so many science vessels. One Scourge bounces in there and is able to take out... Oh, sorry, one Glaive is able to bounce in there and do a lot of damage to those already plagued science vessels. Another Dark Swarm going to go down here. Another Plague. Oh my god, that's a huge Plague. That's going to force Rush to back up a little bit here. Can Sacsri use this open window to potentially start harassing some of Rush's other bases? I mean, at this point, you have to start doing something here. I mean, like, this is the window if you were looking for one here, Sacsri. Battlecruiser taking a whole bunch of damage, not only from Plague, but also from the Spore Colony over here. Zergling are now at 1-2. And I think the Marines, yeah, they're at 3-2 right now, probably getting their +3 armor upgrades as well. We're pumping out more, actually, Science Vessels and Dropships. Nice Plague and Dark Swarm going down here. And now we're starting to see Sacsri survive. And that's really the crucial point here. If Sacsri can just survive long enough, he'll be able to just start making nothing but just tons and tons of units out of all of these bases. problem here is that Rush is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 barracks that are just constantly queuing up and pumping out so much bio. He's constantly at 200, 200. Now Sacsri trying to take the 9 o'clock position. Rush does know about it. There's really not that much to defend here. But we do have another couple of units popping in here. We actually have no lurkers over here. We have nothing actually over here to defend this. Finally, one Ultralisk comes over here. Looks like we're going to get a council on this 9 o'clock base as well. Bunch of units. Oh my god, so many Scourge. We're going to clean up all the science vessels. And now Sacsri has turned this game on its head. But double dropship coming into the main base here of Sacsri. There's not that much over here. We're hearing a whole bunch of consumes going down, but there's no medics with this army either. Any stims are going to be pretty much final, but guess what? Really all Rush wants to do at this point is probably just shred up so much of the tech. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have a bunch of siege tanks pushing in on the 4th base. How much can Sacsri survive here? This is going to be a very crucial moment in this game. Looks like all the siege tanks are going to get cleaned up by just Ultralisks alone, a couple of Dark Swarms, and that one Defiler. It looks like we will see a pretty good defense here from both sides on Sacsri. Sacsri is getting into such a good spot, and the great thing here is that the double Defiler mound makes it really difficult for Terran to come in here and snipe that tech easily. We have so many siege tanks. They do have that +1 upgrade. And I mean, the fact that Sacsri is able to survive that massive onslaught is a great spot for Zerg to be in. I'm curious to see what is going to be the call from both these sides. I mean, we're now at 3-3 on these Marines. I'm sorry, 3-2. But the Ultralisks are getting stronger and stronger. We have so many Ultralisks over here. We've got our lone science vessel trying to come in here. It does have an irradiate or defensive matrix, but I don't really know how this is going to sit. Got a lot of siege tanks now. Just kind of setting up a little bit of like a spot here. Defensive position in the middle of the map. We have to defend these bases. But what's important here is that Rush doesn't lose these science vessels. Because these science vessels are stopping the ability for the Defilers and the Ultralisks to stay alive in the middle of the map easily. Alright, here we go. Rush is now starting to push down at the bottom left-hand corner of the map. We have so many siege tanks. We have to do this very carefully, though. Filer coming up here. Can we get a plague? Oh, we're looking for it. Nope, it's going to be a Dark Swarm instead. We're going to get all these units on top of the siege tanks. If we can break this line, we are in a great spot, and I don't know how Rush is going to get back out on the map, but the Ultralisks are taking so much damage. The siege tanks are re-sieging back up. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we do have a dropship going down here at the 9 o'clock base. And there's just nothing to defend over here. We're now having to pull back a whole bunch of units in order to defend this. These drones are getting shredded. Rush is doing a great job just keeping Sacsri on his toes at all times. Another dropship going back into the main base. There is one Ultralisk over here, but it's very hurt. Oh, never mind. It's going to be a Scourge. Wow. That was lucky. Alright, so it looks like instead we're going to start pushing in here from over the bridge. A little bit scary. Dark Swarm's already going down here. Gonna have to back up. A plague on top of a lot of those bio. And this is just turning into such a really long, crazy game. Oh my god. The 12 o'clock base did get taken here. I mean, there's just no chance, right? Like, there's no chance that this survives. It's such an easy way for Rush to push in here. And now we're spending most of our gas on just getting siege tanks. And I like this. I mean, like, at this point, like, it's the easiest way to handle the Dark Swarm. Because siege tank splash damage does still shoot through Dark Swarm. And so we're going to have to slow push this, which is very interesting. An expert game from both these players. A lot of medics and marines now meeting up with a bunch of ultras and Zergling. But meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Sacsri is fine with sacking that 9th base losing it in order to start taking out some of these bases of Rush. We've got a lot of ultras, a lot of lanes coming over here, and they are now at, no, they're not at any higher up here. They're at 2-3. We're waiting for that 3-3 to kick in. We're going to lose this 9 o'clock base. We have a whole bunch of circling coming in on top of a bunch of bear siege tanks. Oh my god, that's not going to be very useful here. If we're going to lose all of these siege tanks. Meanwhile, the ultras are now starting to push into the bottom right-hand corner. I think that's just a little bit too defended here from Rush, but Rush is going to get that victory, that 9th base going down here. There's so many Marines and medics here. It's going to be very difficult to break this without a Plague and a Dark Swarm. There's a Plague already. Can we get the Dark Swarm in time, though? Oh, we are like 6 energy away from that. Science vessels are starting to spread out. They're looking for any type of easy irradiate targets. Couple Scourge coming in here. They're going to be able to catch it! And a giant surround coming in of Zergling and everything else. Got to get those irradiated ultras in there because they'll start getting a lot of damage done just by the AoE of irradiate. All of the science vessels going down as well. I mean, it was a defensible position. It was a valiant effort, but... Oof, actually, that one irradiated ultra just did so much splash damage. You know, what's really important to note here, though, is that was actually a lot of drones that went down here. We're down to 38 drones. To the 63 SCVs here of Rush. And Rush is able to take this base back. A bunch of siege tanks over here. They do have +2 weapons now. Defensive Matrix going down just to hold that position just a little bit longer. But with the irradiated ultras getting on top of the Marines, they do so much splash damage just in pure AoE. From that irradiate. But Sacsri is losing a lot of that steam. That base was actually really important. Because now we really are starting to plummet in supply here. It's 71 to 150 in the supply count. Sacsri is desperately hanging on here with just paltry numbers of units coming in to take out some of these Terran units. Stop that ball from getting across the map. But I mean, Rush is just constantly pumping out so many units. We got siege tanks with +2 weapons. We've got Marines. We've got bio. We've got science vessels. Like, it's just so difficult for him to be able to handle all of these things at once with the low amount of resources that he has. Now science vessels controlling back and forth. Really, at this point, he has to just constantly take out one of these bases here and there. I mean, just Rush with so many bases is going to be very difficult here for Sacsri to really get the economic edge. And what's worse is he's losing economic edge. He's losing army edge as well. So Sacsri is getting into a worse and worse position as Rush is able to just constantly push out into this map and forcing so many engagements. And I think this might be the last stand here for Sacsri. There we go. GG. Rush taking us up to 2-1 in this best of 5. Whew. What a long game. All right. Game number 4 coming up here. Go to Overwatch. I actually just played on this map. All right. Spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of Overwatch, our 1 versus 1 map is Sacsri. Currently down a game to his opponent. Spawning. Bottom right-hand corner, it is Rush. And now I'm curious. Rush was able to take such a confident game last game. I mean, while Sacsri really put himself on the back foot, he was able to turn a little bit of that around in the mid game. But Rush was just able to keep that lead. Made it so incredibly difficult for Sacsri to get back into a good position there. There were a couple of really good victories there for Sacsri, but just not enough. Rush was able to capitalize on that incredibly missed 9 goal so well, and knew all the little timers that just got delayed and messed up, and was able to really take expert positions on the map. So now the question is, what is this game going to bring us? We don't see anything too cheeky. We did see a extractor trick to get one more drone, and I think that drone's just going to go scout. It looks like Rush is actually going to go for a full wall. Now this is interesting because a full wall can turn into a couple of different things here. It can actually turn into, if you get the full wall before the Zerg is able to scout, you can actually fake it into a massive push, make it look like it's a fast expand, but it's not. Unfortunately for Rush here, though, is it looks like Rush is going to get scouted by the drone here of Sacsri, and I really like this because that drone came so early that Rush really, I don't think, was really expecting it. Typically, I think Zerg kind of just relies on either like an Overlord scout or a little bit of a later scout. So getting this drone in here is going to be very crucial in order to know whether or not this is actually a fake expand or a expand. And this might have just thrown a little bit of what Rush had in plan and in store completely through the loop. And that's totally fine because this opening still hasn't taken form yet, right? If we had seen that... wow, Sacsri also being a little bit suspicious of any type of proxies over here as well. If we had seen Sacsri not get in there, or had gotten in there a little bit later when Rush had already set up this fake expand, this facade, that would have taken a little bit more effort here from Rush to hide and recover from. But overall, I mean, he gets in there, he sees that it's an expansion, and he's pretty happy, right? Oh, and if you're curious of how he knew it was an expansion, because the gas wasn't taken. He got in there, scouted that the gas wasn't taken yet, so he knew that it was a fake, or wasn't a fake expand. Something super aggressive. I didn't see any other barracks either. Anyway, so we do have a really early third base hatchery taken down. Typically, if you go for a 3-hatch play, you go for that 3rd hatch in base. But Sacsri, knowing that Rush is now taking this really fast expansion that just throws the army through the loop and gives such a breath between when the initial aggression can come out from Rush, Sacsri says, okay, well, you just gave me a 3rd base. There's nothing that you can really do anytime soon to attack it, and if you do, well, guess what? Now I have like 2 defensible positions to easily defend here, and that's one of the great things here is that like this is a really easily defendable place. You just put a couple sunken colonies like right here, and they cover both ramps. Makes it actually very difficult for Terran to actually do that much. We're breaking that 3rd base, but overall, it seems like Rush is now realizing the error of his ways, potentially, unless he has a really good plan to punish this. So we do have the 2 racks behind this with an academy. We are going into probably, most likely, a little bit of a push in the coming moments. I'm curious to see how that push is going to materialize, just because you really want to get this push moving right before Zerg is about to pump out a lot of units for whatever their tech is going to be. We do have the lair that's finished up here. We don't have a spire. There we go. There's the spire now finally going down here. Just before 5 minutes. And this right here, this is the danger spot, right? There's no huge amount of units right now for Sacsri, so he has to decide between making units and drones and sunken colonies, and it looks like right now he's going with sunken colonies. It looks like he's going to go with both, actually, Zergling and a single sunken. It looks like he's not going to actually have any defensive structures up here at the 3rd base, and I think this is a good call, right? Because if you go for sunkens, guess what, you can't defend a 3rd base. If you go with Units, though, you have a little bit more fluidity here. But, of course, the units have to really be in concert here. They have to get the full surround all at once. Otherwise, you're going to not be in a great spot here. I like this, like, kind of backing up into this corner. The medic right in front of the fire bat, too. This is, honestly, if I was Sacsri, I would just give up. There's no way I could break that. More barracks is coming down here. And we overall are sitting in a pretty good spot for both sides, I would say, actually. Fire has now finished up here. We're going to start getting all of our 9 mutas across the map. The 9 mutas could break this ball. And I like that Sacsri is kind of playing a little bit safer here. Did move a little bit out of position here, I think. Oh, there comes the stim. And more units coming from the other side. Got to watch out for that. Oh, now we've trapped the Zergling. But, sure, we did all that, but now we've got our mutas out on the map. It's actually, I'm not sure if this is going to be a great decision to go after this, or maybe go after, oh, never mind, there's already missile turrets up in the base. But we'll have to watch where these mutas start to go. Meanwhile, we do have a Hydra Den on the way. We have the 3rd base already, so we don't really even have to worry about taking a 3rd base, which is really kind of fun and crazy here. Because typically this is like a difficult spot for Zerg. If Terran took that early base, they have an early ball of Marines and medics. This is where like you're worried that if you don't take out the Marines, you're only focusing on one thing or the other. The Marines can get on the map and take out your 3rd base, but 3rd base is already up. We already have a 3rd gas going up too. So Sacsri might be able to rocket the tech here just because we're going to have so much gas so early. Meanwhile, Rush is up to 5 barracks. We do have +1 probably finishing, very shortly. And I think we're going to try and be aggressive on the map. By that time, though, I think Lurkers should be done. In which case, God, that Queen's Nest again. He really likes just like putting that up. He's like, you know what, as soon as the Queen's Nest comes out, I'm going to go immediately to Hive. I don't really need it after that, as long as I don't lose my Hive. Might as well use it for a little bit of buffer there. But this is where it gets a little bit scary here. Is like moving this bio ball across the map. You can see that Rush is very consciously keeping this all very balled up. And not only that, but Rush is also very cognizant of the fact that there is going to be a counterattack if he pushes out with these Marines and medics. So he's trying to make sure that all of that doesn't get taken advantage of, like the opening is natural. Because a lot of Terrans will do that. Oh, a little bit of a scary spot. The Zergling getting on top of the Marines. Not that many Marines here, but we are going to clean up all the Zerglings, which is going to make it a little bit easier here. But meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we do have the push into the natural. The only Lurker is taken down here, and we're now on top of the Sunken Colony. It looks like the Queen's Nest is doing its job of taking a little bit of damage from the Fire Bat, but look, the Mutalisks are way out of position. A couple Lurkers now coming in from the 3rd base. Can we get out of position from them? Jump on top of those Mutalisks as they're coming down to work. You're going to take down one more of these Lurkers. No, it does get down. But this is really scary. We did a lot of damage here. We're down to 30 drones. We're now going for the Evo chamber, potentially. I'm not exactly sure. The Fire Bat, though, is taking a lot of damage. The Mutalisks will be able to clean this up. But that was a lot of damage there from Rush. And behind this, we have now the double starport coming up here from Rush. But Sacsri is in a good place as well. We do have the... oh, wow. We're going into Crater Spire. There's a huge amount of airspace over here to abuse. This is potentially a really good decision. But it's a little bit dangerous. We are going to have a lot of gas to turn those mutas into Guardians. I'm curious if Rush has seen it yet. Because Rush will be able to get this idea from just one scan in the main base. But overall, we're backing up. We're kind of pouncing back and forth here with the armies of Terran and Zerg. We didn't really build up this defense over here. It's a little bit scary. Greatest Spire's just about to be done. Oh, we're getting lurkers on top of the bio ball. We're going to lose a couple of lurkers in doing so. Oh man, actually we're going to lose all but one lurker, but we do break the Terran bio, and that's pivotal here. And we have so much gas built up, we can turn this into so many Guardians. And if we push over this bridge, oh, that's exactly what we're doing. What are you going to do with this bridge? You cannot fight Guardians over this bridge. But remember, we do have the double starport. We have the irradiates and science vessels coming up here now. It's actually sitting in a pretty good position. Filer Mine now finally coming up. But it looks like Rush is going to actually circumvent Sacsri's plans. We're going to now push back up the big ramp to the south. We have one Devourer. But we do have a lot of space here to pivot. But this is the difficulty. Now this whole bio ball has to come back over. These Guardians I feel a little bit worried for. They should be up here. Oh, actually, Rush is now going to go for a counterattack instead. Taking a lot of damage, though. We did lose that lurker over the bunker. We have more lurkers coming in here from the other side. The Devourer now trying to take out the lot of air that's actually already up here. I think this is going to be defended from Rush if he can get enough air out. But guess what? The lurkers are already on top of the ramp. Now this is going to be a little bit more difficult. We do have a couple of irradiates hopefully available. Why are they not spending irradiate? Oh my god, did we not get irradiate? Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we are starting to get a ball of medics and marines over here. We're now on top of the macro of Rush. I mean, what are we going to do here? We still don't have a radiate. Oh my god, we're researching it now. Do the Guardians take out the science facility in time? Down to 41 SCVs, but guess what? We've broken the third base. The third base is now completely dead here for Sacsri. On the other side of the map, though, we are barely getting everything up. We get close. And the Devourer is trying to take out these wraiths, but they're not actually doing so. The Guardians are going down now. Is the paltry number of lurkers going to get cleaned up by the even smaller number of wraiths? But a couple of Hydralisks do come up here. That goes down very quickly. 31 to 23. We still have this bio ball. Oh my god. And there's the irradiates now going down on top of all of the Zerg units. We are actually slowly holding this off. But I mean, this is a lot of damage. The third base did get taken out by this Guardian. Oh my god, these Guardians have done so much work over here at the third base. I think a bunch of SCVs did go over there. And I think Sacsri is in a dominating position. I mean, he did lose that third base, but he's on two bases with Hive Tech. Terran does have a lot of barracks. But, I mean, we have, like, barely any SCVs. We're typically at, like, 50, 60 SCVs at this point. Oof. I don't know. Alright, so Sacsri just needs to get that third base back up, I think. If we can get a third gas, I think we're in a really good spot. Two base Terran is still really scary, and a lot of Terrans kind of don't take a third base for a really long time. So now that Rush has this third base, I mean, I guess he's in a pretty good spot. I was hoping that, or I was thinking that Sacsri might be able to follow this up with a second attack, but it looks like not. And instead now, Sacsri is just focusing on trying to build another giant ball to break this again, but we don't have any Defilers, we don't have any Guardians, we don't really have much. And with just Lurkers, guess what? Now our science vessels count huge. But we do have a lot of Lurkers. We're now getting on top of the bridge as well, which is like very critical. If we can get these Lurkers on top of the Bio Ball at the natural, we might be able to break Terran again. But that's a lot of Terran building up over here with a huge concave. Oh, and there's the Umburrow. Isn't going to actually work out, though. We're going to get a couple of these Lurkers on top of the bridge. We're going to slaughter so many of these Marines. We're going to take out one more of these Scientists, but there's not that much Zerg army left. Luckily, there's no more irradiates. Oh, no, maybe there are 2 more irradiates. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, these are very fresh science vessels. Third base is undefended right now. Looks like we're gonna get those lurkers on top. Oh my god, the other lurker is gonna go down. Oh my god, we don't have anything now. We've got nothing. And Rush is coming back in here with the bio balls, clean up the rest of the Hydra units. We don't have a third base. Oh, nope, sorry, take it back. We do have a third base. Can we hold it though? That's the question. I mean, that's a lot of science vessels. And Sacsri doesn't really have answers for the science vessels right now. Alright, a couple Marines coming up here. There is a Nidus Canal trying to come up, but that's too much. GG. Oh my god. Can we talk about the craziest hold of all time by Rush? That was so well played. So that's going to be Rush taking it 3-1 in this best of 5. Dang, Sacsri is a really good Zerg. I think Rush was just playing so solid today. And that will be the end of that series. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, throw down the subscribe on the YouTube channel, StarCastTV. I'm Schamtoo yet again, so if you enjoyed any of this cast, throw down the follow or subscribe on twitch.tv/Schamtoo. And thank you so much, everybody. See you next time.